Well, hey there, 5-minute video time. I want to talk to you a little bit more about some of the things I talk about in the book, about Jesus Untangled, crucifying our politics to pledge allegiance to the Lamb. I've been doing a whole lot of podcasts and interviews and radio interviews and things like that about the book. And quite often I'll get asked, why it matters. So what's the big deal? Keith, why are you so upset about the idea of Christians being involved in politics? Why can't people be sincere followers of Jesus and at the same time be involved in politics? Supporting a party and voting for their candidate and standing for their platform and donating money to political causes and those kinds of things. Like, what's the big deal? Well, there's a pretty big deal, actually. So one of those things, there's several things. One of the things that I try and point out is the fact that there is a trend in America, and it's something called the nuns and the duns. This is something that's come up in the last couple of years, and I've done several blogs and videos about this from various different perspectives, but essentially, here's what it is. It's a trend in America, Christianity, where really several million young people are dropping out of the church, record numbers. So the church is getting older. What that means is that the younger generation is opting out of evangelical Christianity. They're not going to church. They're not being involved in church. They want nothing to do with the church. And one of the main reasons they give for why they are checking out is that they're tired of hearing political messages from the pulpit. They're tired of being asked to conform to very specific political paradigms if they want to be welcome or accepted in that church. And they're just tired of it. They just want Jesus. They want Jesus without all those things. That's why about 2 years ago I did a series of meetings here in Orange County called which I set up on meetup.com, and I was running a couple of them concurrently. And those meetings were called Jesus Without Religion or Politics, because there is a significant number of young people, especially, who are just sick and tired of the politics, and they just want Jesus. And if they can't get Jesus in church, they're just not going to go, and they're not going to be a part of it. And so we could end up losing an entire generation because of that. One of the other reasons why I think it's a bad idea for Christians to mix their politics and faith together is found in the Holocaust Museum. There are 12, there's a giant poster, by the way, if you go to the Holocaust Museum, there's a giant poster of the 12 early warning signs of fascism. Fascism, of course, being the political structure and philosophy that ends up creating holocausts and genocides and things like that. And I'm not going to read all 12 to you, but I will point out to you two of those 12 warning signs of fascism. The number one warning sign of fascism is a powerful and continuing nationalism. Nationalism, it seems like a good thing to be patriotic. It seems like a good thing to be in favor of your country, or to, as we would maybe paraphrase someone recently, America first, to have that policy. But it is a warning sign of fascism. In other words, powerful and continuing nationalism, us first, puts you in this us-them tribal mentality, which we've talked about before and we'll talk about more in a later video. But that leads to fascism. And then if you go down just a little bit, about halfway through the list, number 7 on the list of the early warning signs of fascism is this: religion and government intertwined. Now do you see why I'm really wanting Christians in America to back off of mixing their faith and their politics? Because 2 of those 12 warning signs of fascism are directly related to what I see as a trend that's happening in the American church today. The number 1 sign is a powerful and continuing nationalism, and at the heart, at the middle of that list is this: religion and government intertwined. We have to separate Christianity from nationalism. We have to separate our faith from the political spectrum. We have to go back to seeking first the kingdom of God and only the kingdom of God, and putting our hope in making the world a better place squarely and completely on the shoulders of Jesus and the good news and the gospel of the kingdom. Only by living out the good news of the kingdom, only by following Jesus, only by sharing the transformational power of the gospel will we make this world and our community and our country and our neighborhoods a better place. And that's all the time we have for today, but we're going to keep on talking about this issue. Thank you for listening. I'll post the whole list, by the way, below this video as well if you want to link to the whole list. But thanks for listening. By the way, look for me on the book tour coming up this summer. We'll talk again soon. God bless. Bye-bye.